For me, it was always the story of the snake. When the water gets to your ankle, everybody's like, get out, that's enough water for you. We grow up with this fear that there's something in the water and at any point it could take you. We get on the boat goes out, we jump out onto the water, and then I start freaking out. I'm drowning, somebody save me, I am drowning. It's very difficult for us to give meaning to things that we don't understand, especially in the space of water. It's a question of how do we re-look at this whole narrative. My name is Zandile Ndlovu and I'm a 32-year-old from South Africa. So I grew up in Soweto, which is very far from the sea. Like a lot of us growing up, you know, we don't really come across the sea until that one trip that happens when you get closer to the ocean. The myths around the ocean growing up have always been about a big snake that takes little children. As the water pulls in, when the waves are crashing and pulling the water in, and if any of the kids didn't make it out, the snake took them. My grandmother will say, Umnumzan is out, and that means that the big snake is out and everyone must be careful.
I mean, growing up as black young people was impossible. Like, a pool was daunting. A normal swimming pool was daunting.
My whole life, I've always felt like I don't fit in. Never finding home in the spaces where I was at. My corporate experience was interesting. It felt uncomfortable because there was a box. I didn't want to sit in the woman box. I didn't want to sit in the black box. I didn't want to sit in any box. I just wanted to live my heart out in the way that I've always lived my heart out. In 2016, I was going through a little bit of a hard time in my life. It was a little bit of a rattle at the end of my marriage. And I decided to go to Bali. I was riding my bicycle down to breakfast and I heard this guy saying, snorkel trip, snorkel trip. And I mean, I'd always wanted to go on a snorkel trip, but it had never happened. And so I signed up and the guy gave me my mask and snorkel fins and that was that. And we jump out into the water. As I watched the dive master at the bottom of the ocean, I took out my snorkel and I dived down to the bottom. And I was with him, picking up these shells and looking at him. And I'll never forget the feeling. There was this place that existed that was for me. I had never in my life been more at home. And then I come across this video and I'll never forget it because I thought, what kind of witchery is this? These three girls are on the top of the water and they just dive in, right? And they're swimming along the reef. They don't have cylinders on their backs. And I just thought, what the hell is going on? So then I obviously go onto my laptop to find out what it is. And I found out that that was free diving. You dive into space and you're just by yourself and all that surrounds you is just a beauty and a peace like you've never known. And you're free from what is to come. You're free from what has happened. All there is the now. The brain relaxes. It's not thinking about the many things that it does. There's nothing else that matters than that moment. The first in every single reaction is shock. You know, everyone will say, but that's white people stuff. But it's accessible to everybody. And the idea that water sports have always been white sports is incorrect. And we have a responsibility to kind of change that. Becoming the first Black freediving instructor is not an individual achievement. I think it's a country's achievement because it talks about opportunity and access and the ability to dream even from where we come from. So I decided to start the Black Mermaid Foundation because, one, there is a present fear when it comes to water, when it comes to Black and brown people. I wanted to create a safe space to have discussions and how does that open up opportunities? These are spaces that are largely untransformed in South Africa. The Black Mermaid Foundation was so much bigger than being a freediving instructor. It wasn't about that. It was saying, how do we go back and change the narrative and allow people to dream bigger? It's not just, about the freediving aspect. It's not just your work. It's how you show up everywhere. You just need to be present enough to realize, to just take a breath. The obstacles that I had to go over is a lot of mind stuff. Detaching from the fears of deep waters, detaching from the fear of the unknown, and somehow finding what it truly means to be present. Could the snake be there? I don't know, but what I am is me, and I'm here, and all there is the present. Freediving has taught me that the ocean is an alive creature, and for me, as I go into the waters, I arrive here not with fear, but with respect.
Alright, see how this works. He'll ride it. Yeah, I overshot it by 100 feet. Go for it.
Well, I have read as a child books about the Whitbread race at the time, and the sailing magazines, the films, and it's inspired me tremendously. I'm super happy that we are now starting the race. I want this race to become part of the IMOCA class, our sailing race boat class from the Vendée Globe. And 2026 and then ongoing, I think really there can be something very strong if we have an agenda with both races around the world linking together. And that's basically driving me to do this one. And this is now 2/3 done. All the design work is finished, even all the details. We have already most of the ropes made with their little labels and their little color code and all that's already hanging in the container. And we have a launch on the 19th July in Lorient. And then we want to get this boat going as quickly as possible. Well, for me, that was a very natural thing. We have already, in the past years or decades on the IMOCAs, we have always been sailing with crews. Even like 15 years ago, there was a Europe race to Istanbul where there were 5 on board. And we had seen last summer that there was the Ocean Race Europe, which went fabulously with 5 people on board, 4 sailors and 1 onboard reporter. And so for me, there was a very positive surprise last summer again to see the feedback from these teams that had done it, and they were very happy with the even reduced space and ergonomy that an IMOCA has compared to a more traditional Volvo 65 boat, which is traditionally for bigger crews. And I therefore don't see any contradiction between both uses. For me, it's exactly the same boat. The big thing was that we are allowed to use autopilots in the ocean race. That means we don't have to think about a big steering wheel position, and that would have been a tremendous change compared to the Vendée Globe. That is not the case. That's not something we need to worry about. So we will sail the boat in a very similar way, mostly under autopilot. And for the Vendée Globe, I wanted to have a protected cockpit with a lot of windows and view and space to sleep next to the winch, where I have a kind of bench or bunk both sides in the cockpit. So I can sleep right next to the coffee grinder under all these windows. And that has kind of been a strong desire coming up in the last Vendée Globe. And this is also perfect for crew. Then 2 people can sit on the bench and 1 at the coffee grinder, and there's enough space for everyone. So I'm really looking forward to exploring this. This is the first boat design that I have been involved with. I have been heavily involved. I pushed a lot in one direction to go for a real offshore boat that is more tolerant to sea state and hopefully can go better through big waves and big sea state. So we will not just out of the box see like a flying ultra machine that is faster than anyone else. We will hopefully see a boat that is robust, safe, and that also can take me around the world in the Vendée Globe in the best condition and in the best average speeds in even very difficult sea conditions in the south. So this was the focus for the boat. And on the ocean race, maybe you would have put the cursor a little bit more towards an all-round boat, but who knows? We will find out where we stand in the competition, and hopefully anyway, this is not the last boat we build and not the last ocean race we do with the new boat.
Durban is a thriving modern city in KwaZulu-Natal, home of the Zulu nation. Its people live a fast-paced 21st century life, yet many of them carry their traditions deep within them. I find that the traditional Zulu attire is so regal looking. Just the colors and the vibrancy, just beautiful. I traveled out of Durban to discover the Zulu way of life. I didn't realize how close the city is to the beautiful rolling hills of Heartland. I was excited to find people still living according to a proud, passionate heritage, not just respecting the old ways, but celebrating tradition joyously. I found people with an amazing zest for life, flashes of color everywhere. I was swept up in the drama, the noise, the excitement of it all. I mean, every photographer lives for those moments. It's something I'll never forget.
August 21st, 1991. In Moscow, a coup by hardline communists against Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev collapses. Leading the popular uprising against the coup plotters, Boris Yeltsin, president of the Russian Federation. Gorbachev returns to power, but the Soviet Union dissolves by the end of the year, effectively ending the Cold War. 1940. In Mexico City, Leon Trotsky, the exiled Russian revolutionary, dies after an assassin drives an ice pick into his skull. Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, Trotsky's longtime rival for power, is widely believed to have arranged the murder. 1831. In Virginia, Nat Turner leads a slave rebellion, hoping to spark a slave uprising in the South. Dozens of whites are killed before the violent revolt is quickly defeated. Turner is later captured, tried, and hanged. 1959. The American flag gets its 50th star as President Dwight Eisenhower signs an executive order proclaiming Hawaii a state. 1904. Count Basie, one of jazz music's greatest band leaders, is born in Red Bank, New Jersey. And 1938, Kenny Rogers, the country singer and songwriter with decades of hits, is born in Houston, Texas. Today in history, August 21st. Sophia Manos, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,